want to tell you what happened with Detroit.
Okay.
You know, we have always had a large Arab population.
Yep.
And a Chaldean population. Well, if you'll notice, Arab has a business model in Detroit in which they profit off of low-income behavior. So you go to an Arab store and you're going to find your blunt wraps. A gas station, same thing. You're going to find knives taped all over the window. They're going to have the liquor for you. Underneath the counter, you can find you some drugs. Everything that is negative and consequential to low-income people, black and white now, because they have their neighborhoods too. And so everything that is you'll find with the Arabs. Now what about the Chaldeans? The Chaldeans, they profit off the government. So it doesn't matter who you are to the Chaldeans in Detroit. They only keep up with what the government is doing in terms of government services. So the Chaldeans are the ones who know when there's going to be an increase in EBT benefits, things of that nature. And all of a sudden, before you even know it, they will increase prices on their food products. But they have a generosity toward low-income people that you will find some low-income people working for Chaldeans, but you'll never find any low-income people working for the Arabs in these communities, because they look at you in terms of your behavior. And this is one of the things that has torn the city apart, because everything that you get here in the city of Detroit comes from one of those. You know, there was a time when you could pay your electric bill at a building established by the electric company, has a sign. But now you go to what? An Arab gas station or Chaldean store. You see?
Yep.
You want to pay your rent, you go to one of them. So who has all of your personal information?
Yeah.
The very people who are trying to make a living here.
Yeah.
Do you know what? And to give you an idea.
Hey, we gotta sit in there.
Come on.
We'll get cold. Let me grab Daisy first.
Okay, no problem.
Come over here, Daisy. Come here, hon. Come here, Daisy. Come here, honey. Daisy. No, come here, honey. Come over here. Come over here. Come on. Okay, Calvin. Good girl, honey. All right, good. A lot better in here.
Oh, okay.
It's all right, Daisy. It's all right, honey. It's all right. All right. Okay, go on. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay. And so
It's all right, Daisy.
here is Daisy will be okay with me.
Yeah, she's fine.
And so what is happening is that by centralizing all of your information, now when you go to the drugstore, you go to an Arab drugstore. They got all your information. So they know who you are. And this is why when you walk around Detroit or drive around Detroit, you always see a gathering around, number one, the party stores, and number two, it will be the gas station. And the reason why is because everything that is being done in this city has to go to the Arabs or the Chaldeans. And when the neighborhoods fall apart, there is no place to go. So you go and you sit at the only place where you know there is going to be some source of revenue. And so you want to get high, and you want a beer, or you're bored because, as you can see, no one is out. So what happens is that you go where there is the commerce, the traffic. And where's that? It's the gas station. That's why you see them there. It's the stores. Now, the reason we're having problems in Detroit now is because most of the stores have closed. Now you almost need a car to get to a liquor store because gas stations and those party stores don't really sell liquor anymore. The Arab ones, the Muslim ones, they're not going to sell liquor out of those stores. And they are being shut down because they all have a central banker. And every dime that they make goes back overseas. And so if they want a neighborhood, they'll just simply shut down all the stores and you are through. Because as I said, everything is being centralized. They do everything. They take care of all your business, the Arabs and the Chaldeans. And I tell you something. This goes back to Dave Bing. Dave Bing said, if you folks don't move out of these communities, I'm going to shut off all your services. I'm going to shut off your water, your garbage pickup. You get nothing if you don't move. That was just before Flint. And, I took that on and went to court about that. But it wasn't about Flint. It was about Detroit because they were also planning to cut Denton Harbor's water supply, Grand Rapids, Port Huron. These people don't know how close they came to having all of their pipes torn out as well. And right now, some people just moved from my neighborhood because every day we smell raw sewage because they're doing something to the pipes again, And so Tom, what is going to happen to the individuals that are in this city right now who don't know that in 2008, about 200 of us were picked up by the FBI, CIA, on Social Security. This happened right here. It was on Lafayette. We all got letters. I got a letter as well. I know law. I fight them all the time. And so the letter stated, we're having an annual review, Mr. Murry, and we want you to come down to our office on Lafayette Boulevard. I'm known as the FBI building. And they said, make sure you bring current, up-to-date, valid ID. When they said that, I said, okay, this is a sting. But why? I didn't know that it was a sting for the entire city. And so I said, now, if I don't go, they're going to terminate all my benefits. And if I go, I'm going to jail because this is a sting. So I decided, I said, well, the best thing to do is to just go. I go down, and the FBI building is just a couple of blocks down from WDIV and other television stations and newspapers. And when I get down there, there's about 200 of us in line. We all had this letter. You had people on walkers. You had people in a wheelchair. You had elderly women. You had women with children. And we were going in one at a time. And as soon as you would go in and go through their metal detector, they would tell you, now you go up on, I think it was the 10th floor. Now you will go up to the 10th floor. The office is up on the 10th floor. And as you get on the elevator and you go to the 10th floor, there were FBI agents and task force agents waiting, and they arrested all of us. All of us. Even the one, and I was so sick at that time, still dealing with a lot of paralysis. I couldn't raise my arm. I couldn't even walk, but I had to go there because they said, you got to be here. And I've got all my documents. under my arm because they said bring everything pertaining to Social Security with you. So I got all my documents under my arm. When I get up on the 10th floor and they grabbed me, the first thing they did, took all my documents. They took your ID and they took everything that they told you to bring, all of us. And they put me in a room with about 7 or 8 other people who had been arrested, old people, black and white now, again. And we were sitting in there and everyone is saying, they said that we are fleeing felons, that we are fugitives. What the hell are they talking about? And I said, man, I don't know either, man. You know, and when they brought us out, they would say, we're going to put you on a bus and we're going to take all of you down to the federal courthouse and we're going to arraign all of you and then release you on your own recognizance. Because we're going to arraign you on being fleeing felons and getting Social Security money for all these years. This went on all over the country. And it started with Obama. It started with Bush. We won the case against Bush. But Obama came right behind Bush and did the same thing. We won in Clark versus Astru. They were supposed to have given us all our money back, but they didn't. Then in 2008, when Obama got in office, Obama is the one who had me and all these Detroiters here arrested. Now, once we were up in the federal building being arrested and then being transported, I'm the only one that didn't because I couldn't walk. So 2 agents, one I won't forget, he was one of the regional task force members. Last name was Kozlowski. Because I told him, I said, you know, I'm from Hamtramck, man. You know, that Polish man, you know, dzień dobry, you know, because I'm trying to be cool with this guy. But what happened is that they took everybody, put them on, and with me, they took all my documents that they didn't keep. They stuck them underneath my arm because I couldn't raise my arm. One had one arm, the other had the other arm. They lifted me because I couldn't walk. And they put me on a back elevator. This is at the federal courthouse now. I mean, not at the federal courthouse, but at the FBI building, the Lafayette building. And I go down the back elevator with these 2. They take me into the alley and they release me. And they said, listen, we're going to release you, Mr. Murry, because, you know, you got some health issues. But we want you to go down and get this matter straightened out. Right? You're going to do that, aren't you? And I said, yeah. And then when I got home, they waited until December the 24th because they wanted to let me know that this was like a Christmas gift. They told me that all my benefits were terminated and that I owe them $40,000. And I'm saying, wow, let me call some of my friends at Metro Times. Let me, you know, call WDIV. I let all of these people know. And then I go to Sugar Law Center here. I tried to get them involved. ACLU. I said, do you know that these people ran a sting on Social Security recipients? All these old people on wheelchairs, and they took us and threw us all in, and nobody was interested. So what I do is I take on the Social Security Administration by myself. And they got smart with me. They got smart to what I was doing. Because you see, the reason why I know so much is because in law, you got this discovery process. Well, you don't think I'm a guy who, knows law, who's got landmark cases and stuff, who used to help out ACLU all across the country. I even worked some with Habitat for Humanity, because it was that little social justice thing I had going when I was younger. And so, the lawyers, the government lawyers, the federal lawyers that they would put up against me would suddenly realize that every obstacle they would put in front of me and the judge, I would overcome them. And they knew that every time I got my hands on discovery documents, I was knowing a little bit too much about what was going on. Now, this happened with the Social Security thing, everybody being fleeing felons, and the case was settled. But as I said, in 2008, Obama ran that same sting again. And so all of us who had been arrested at the Lafayette building were going down to Social Security offices and saying, these people arrested me, talking about I'm a fleeing felon. And when you go in the Social Security office, that's when the armed security guards would grab you and throw you out. Everybody who got arrested would get thrown out when they go to Social Security to complain. They even did the same thing to me, right in Highland Park. And I document all my stuff because, number one, I'm an ex-journalist. Number two, I write anyway. And number three, I deal with a lot of law. I'm a former paralegal. So I'm always documenting stuff. And what they were doing is that you would say, I got a letter from Social Security saying go down to the Lafayette office. I get down there and they throw me in handcuffs. I'm 80 years old. I'm half paralyzed. You know, I've got kids and all these people coming up with their problems. And they'll say, what are you doing, raising your voice at me? And as soon as they would say that, the security guard would come and throw that person out. They did me the same way. I just went in and asked them, why did you have me arrested? Why did you tell me to go down to that Lafayette FBI office? And why did you keep my identification? And why did you keep all my documents? And they said, are you getting smart with me, Mr. Murry? And I said, no, I'm asking you a question. And then she stood up. And they gave us all a special representative. You didn't get no Social Security representative. They had a special representative. And I know it was either